let's just jump right into it. So why did you decide to go into full-time entrepreneurship?
I think it's something that always been in me. Been a part of me. I was one of those people. I was confused about my career path my entire life. I think entrepreneurship with me kind of started really, really early. My earliest memory was in 7th grade, where I would take my classmates' lunch money. They would donate it to me every day, like $2 or $3 a day, to kind of fund my go-kart idea. And that was in 7th grade, and I never built a go-kart in my life, and I still haven't. But the fact that I could actually influence people to actually fund my idea, that was something. And I didn't know it was entrepreneurship back then, but I think my mind just always worked like that. And just naturally, when I turned into an adult, I just knew that I didn't want to choose a traditional career path, and kind of just led me here.
All right, very cool. So one question about the go-kart. So what did you do with that money that you're
I would actually take that money, and then I would give it to my boys on my block, because I would pay them, and then we would all go around like the neighborhood and search through people's like trash for like old lawnmower equipment and things like that. So I would just like kind of break them off for helping me with that.
Okay, all right, cool, very dope. So were you a marketing and brand strategist before the ACC, or before ACC Branding, or was it kind of like you just jumped right in?
Yeah, I mean, I was a digital marketer and brand strategist before ACC, but I don't know if I would call myself that, because I didn't have any experience. I didn't have enough experience, I should say. I'm one of those people, man. I kind of just, if I don't know something, I'm just gonna dive right into it, and I'll just learn as I go. But I was always a marketer, but I wasn't a seasoned digital marketer or brand strategist. I kind of just had my natural talents and my natural ability to kind of see things as marketing, but I didn't really have any tactical skills.
Oh yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
So you said traditional marketing to digital marketing. Was that transition hard, or was it like very seamless just because the two are sort of like together in one, like you could say?
Yeah, they're related, but the transition was pretty. It's not crazy hard, but it's not a seamless transition, because I come from South Beach, right? Like I come from the class of passing out flyers on the corner, very hand-to-hand guerrilla marketing. That's where I come from. So once the world started to kind of change and the industry started to go online, it was more of a concept of, okay, instead of who can pass out a flyer and who can be like the smoothest talker to a passer buyer, who can actually create the best content, who can actually, get people to take action online. So it was a transition of that. So, I didn't know how to create content. I didn't know any of those things. I had a media company at the time, but even that kind of failed because we didn't really know what we were doing as far as transition, because we started our company off the backs of physical clubs. Like we would be in the clubs taking photos, taking videos, and then our game plan was posting that content to the internet 6 a.m. in the morning. Sometimes before people even got home from the club, their photos were up on Facebook already, and they were kind of just blown away at that. And so when everything started to kind of change, and that was no longer our unique selling proposition, we just had a hard time pivoting. So it took a while to kind of learn the digital marketing game, for sure.
Okay, and what steps have you taken to more ingrain yourself with digital marketing?
So like I said, I kind of just jump into things full force. And so, I kind of got obsessed with it. I'm a believer of, if you're gonna achieve something at a high level, you need to be fully submerged in that thing. So you need to live it. And that's what I did. So I read lots of books, watched lots of videos. I went out there and did tons of free work for people, to kind of just learn. I have a friend of mine who works in marketing he's in the agency world. So he actually works for like large corporations. He's actually, he was the head of social media for Norwegian Cruise Lines. And he's at one of the top firms in the nation right now as head of social media. So having him by my side, of course, at the time, he wasn't that, but he was still working in agencies. So I would kind of just bump him and like, hey, man, what's going on in the agency? How do people do this? How does that work? Just asking questions, and then really just practicing, man. So like I said, doing a lot of free work. So tapping people and like, hey, I'll do this for you for free. Just kind of on the backs of, hey, I need to learn this at full force.
Right. So you talked about going full force. When did you decide to transition from a worker to full-time entrepreneurship?
Great question, man. So that was, what's today? So that was, I guess, April of 2019. That was my last month in the 9-to-5 market. I was actually a paralegal / legal assistant for many years in the legal world. So I worked in debt collection. I've worked in foreclosures, just literally, pushing paper, man, signing off on orders, putting together attorney discoveries. If people know what that is, it's a really detailed job, but it sucks because you don't get paid anything, you know. But yes, I was in that world for a long time, but like I said, that whole time I was really just doing things on the side, and the agency started to catch some wind, and I noticed, and I kept really fanning that fire to the point where the agency's workload started to become so much more than what I had at my job. And as a matter of fact, I'll give you a funny story. There was this, I met this really, 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 really rich guy, like really rich, the richest person I've ever met to this day. Like lives in a freaking palace, whatever. I went to his house for dinner, because I had met him through another client, and he was talking about hiring me for some work and using my services, this and that. And so I told myself, if I could secure this client, he would be my highest paying client. And if I could secure him for a 3-month contract, literally, I'm so fed up with work, I would jump off the cliff and use this money and really go hard. Now, that's not my only preparation. My preparation was, I told myself that I would prepare myself by saving 3 months of expenses, money, 3 months of savings, and 3 months of just leisure spending. And so once I built up my bank account to have those sets of incomes, then I knew, okay, I'm going to give myself 90 days to execute. And if I cannot make enough money to pay the bills for the next month in 90 days, then I just need to stick to my 9-to-5 and get another job. But if I can do it, if I can make enough money to last, then okay, I got something, right? And so when I secured that client, I knew, okay, then there goes the money for the next month or so. All right, if I keep him on contract, and if I keep on hunting, then I can do this for a long time. And that's how I quit. And I told my job I'm out, and I've been on the road ever since. And things have been up and great, man.
Nice. One of the things that I've really liked about what you've been doing, especially during the pandemic, was your it was like you had like a Friday series on Instagram Live where you were talking to different people. I forgot what the name of it was.
Free Game Fridays.
Yes, Free Game Fridays. I really enjoyed that. So tell me, how did that come about?
That's matter of fact, my guy who works in the agency world, his name is Steven Dakers. So It's a great friend of mine, and literally, Steve and I, we make terrible business partners. We've started multiple things together. They all flop. It's just because our personalities, we're like great friends, but they don't make great for business relationships in this sense. Maybe, I don't know what it is really. Maybe it would work differently now that we're older. But anyway, I'm always talking to Steve, and we're always contemplating like, hey, let's try to do something here. Let's try to do something there. And we're like, man, we're both on quarantine. Let's kind of just share our knowledge with people, and let's get on Free Game Fridays on a Friday. And so we did that, and that's where that came from.
Dope. Okay, transitioning from your professional career, how do you handle, well, congrats on the baby.
Thanks, man.
No worries. How do you handle being a full-time entrepreneur and a father at the same time?
Yeah, it's a really interesting dynamic that you have to navigate. It's all about schedule. So thank God I have a wonderful wife who, she's busy herself. She's a full-time teacher, which is a whole thing right now because of virtual learning. So there's that stress, but she's also a full-time mother and in grad school, right? So you take that, and then you take me, who I'm like a lunatic entrepreneur who always has 100 things going on too. It just takes a lot of communication and a lot of scheduling. So like, I have a workspace that I go to. We've mapped out, okay, I'll go to the workspace 3 times a week. And that way that'll give her time on other days to go for her run and do what she has to do. She needs to go to the store or whatever. She could do that and be fine. So it's kind of just communication and scheduling, and kind of just being a master of your time, which is not to ramble, but which is something that I didn't do well for a very long time. I kind of always let people dictate my time for me. As you go on and you grow and you become a little bit more experienced, you start to realize, man, like, no, not everything's a fire. You know what I mean? Not everybody's emergency is your emergency. Some things can wait, and not everything can be done at once. And so once you start to realize that, you're like, I'll handle things when they need to be handled. And thank God I have a team now. And that was a huge thing. In preparation for the baby, I knew that the baby was coming, and I knew that I could not continue the way that I was working. So I literally had to drop a major client of mine that was like very, very taxing. And I know there was no workaround. Like, he wasn't following processes and things like that. So I had to drop him, and I had to hire some more teammates. We're a team of 5 now. And my account manager, shout out to Ashley, has been a wonderful blessing. Shout out to Gabby, my marketing assistant, Idona, Hassan, the whole team. Anyway, the whole team literally gives me room and flexibility to be a full-time father, entrepreneur, founder, strategist, and everything else that I am.
That's dope. Have you thought about venture capitalism, being a venture capital or investing into that space?
No. I haven't. No, not really at all. No, to be quite frank, no. I was thinking I always want to help other people out and things like that, but it wouldn't be through the vein of VC. No, I'm not even a fan of VC really. I know it's a necessity
right.
for a lot of people, of course, but it's definitely not a route that I'm interested in.
Right. So moving on. So you talked about how you went from an employee to a full-time entrepreneur. How has that a year ago? How has ACC been running during this pandemic? Like, I like the way how you pivoted some of your strategies with like being more active and posting. You did your 30 for 30 days. So I just want to know, how was ACC running during this pandemic, especially because you're in the food and beverage industry, took a huge hit. So how have you and your business adjusted during these times?
So yeah, ACC's been running great. the entire time ever since I jumped off the porch from my full-time job to full-time entrepreneurship. Things have been running in the year plus. I mean, I guess it's going to be 2 years, well, a year and a half or whatever it may be. It's been great. We've been on the up and up. Things are literally just been soaring, right? And then COVID happens. And thank God through like the really hard time of COVID, where the closures are happening, we somehow scaled up during that time.
Nice.
Yeah, somehow, some way. It wasn't to any doing of my own, I promise. It literally just happened. And that kind of just gives testament to when you're doing the right thing, the right things will happen to you. You have to be in the place for them to happen, though. If you're not taking action and you're not doing what you're supposed to do, nothing will happen. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you have to be in the place for things to happen. But so those things happened, and that kind of really gave us the strength and quite frankly, the cash flow to carry on through COVID. We're in this place right now where the industry is very strange and things like that. So I met with my team and I said, okay, what can we do to not only scale our business and hold our own through this time, but what can we do to actually help other people? Because that's our thing. We believe in you help people and you help businesses, you help companies in exchange for your value. Value will be given to you. So we decided, you know what, we're going hard with the content. We're going to create this creative carousels, and we're going to post every single day for a period of time. I think it was supposed to be 90 days. We were supposed to go straight forth, but I think we ended up doing like 40 odd days straight of just pure content every single day. And when I say, man, that thing went crazy, this is something that I want people to learn. Likes and comments are metrics, yes, but they are sometimes very vain metrics. You must look on the inside at shares, saves, messages, those things. Those metrics are what counts. And that content that we released on a daily has literally created so much revenue for us, man, and so much relationships. It's just been insane.
Dope. So what advice would you give to starting entrepreneurs who are just now making the transition from employee to full-time entrepreneurs?
What would I advice? Okay. Build relationships in any way that you can. That's something that I've been working on a lot lately. I'm always kind of to myself and to my team. You know, I'm like a family man, bro. Like I'm like always at the house. But get out, shake some hands, kiss some babies, meet people, get on join different groups on Facebook. Just make relationships, cultivate them. And not only just make relationships, don't go asking people for things. Don't go picking people's brains. I hate those phone calls. I'm sorry. If you listen to this and you've called my phone before about picking my brain, I really despise that. It's just like, don't go picking people's brains. Go asking what you can do for people. Like find people's problems and solve them, and you will be a lot better off. And then, you'll get value in return. But my advice for them, build relationships, 1, 2, study hard. 3, go hard. Once you find some kind of success, don't go lenient. Just go in the direction of that full time. Go 100%. Put it all on the line. Take a risk. That's what you need to do. And have faith. Faith will carry you through, because entrepreneurship is really scary at times because you can't tell what's coming down the pipe. Like you don't know what's happening tomorrow. You don't know what's happening next week. But as long as you keep the faith, you work hard, and you stay in position, you'll be in the game.
Nice. Very dope. So you talked about building relationships, and you also mentioned how you put out content for about 45 days straight, and that also cultivated relationships. What advice would you give to people to build new relationships during the current times that we're in right now?
Solve problems. Solve problems, man. If you see somebody that you want to build a relationship with, do some research. Take 5-10 minutes, look through their page, look through their business, find out what they're doing. And if you can find and pinpoint a way that they can do something better or something that you're really good at that they're not doing, offer it.
Very dope. Very dope. Okay. Just one last thing. Where do you see yourself in ACC branding in 5 years?
Wow. 5 years. 5 years. This kind of changes all the time for me. I mean, of course I have goals and things like that, but in 5 years, I believe that ACC will be one of South Florida's top boutique agencies, marketing agencies. I believe that we will be, a multi-million-dollar company. Of course, I don't want to be, I'm not here to be like some business tycoon. I'm just not. I'm not here to be a billionaire. This is not my goal. My goal is to really build a successful company. And then not only that, but take care of my family on like a high level, of course. I want to live the life where my wife can go shopping any day of the week that she wants. We can take flights. My daughter's college, or no, I don't know if my daughter's going to college, but my daughter's lifestyle is paid for before she even turns of age. Like I heard somebody on the internet say the other day, if my daughter turns 18 and wants to be a apple picker, she'll have enough money in the bank and saved up from her parents. She can literally be a professional apple picker for the rest of her life. You know what I mean? Right. So that's what I see for me. My agency, of course, I said multi-million-dollar company. I want to make sure my team eats. Like right now, we're at a team of 5. I estimate at the size that I want to get, we'll probably be at a size maybe 20, 25 at the max. And yeah, that's what I see for the agency, man. And like I said, South Florida, of course, but we'll definitely be doing a lot more national business. We do business out of the state right now. We have some clients in Chicago, Houston, New York, but we're going to do a lot more national business and service people properly on the outside.
Dope. Very dope. Well, and I want to thank you for your time, man, out of your busy schedule. I'm glad you came through and chopped it up with me, man. Do you have anything to plug?
Yeah, for sure, man. I got a lot of things to plug. So please, follow me on Instagram, CASS4QL, for marketing tips. Like I said, we went really hard on that content. And we have a lot more in the can, actually, that we haven't released yet. So stay tuned for that. You can actually follow me on Instagram. You can follow me or friend me on Facebook. Anthony Cass Clarke on Facebook. I'm there. You can tune in and subscribe to my podcast. That's Thoughts Over Coffee Daily. That's a Monday through Friday podcast. If you're looking for like really quick motivation, tips, tricks, conversation, that's the podcast for you. Really good to listen to in the morning or night, just really 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes tops, and you're out. So check it out if you get a chance on all platforms. Yeah, and then if you're looking for marketing, I'm your guy. Hit me up.
All right. Once again, thank you. Make sure you follow everything that Anthony mentioned. Follow me on social media at Flow My Hero. Follow the brand at 26 and Glencoe Media Network. And until next time, peace.
All right, everybody. Y'all know who it is, Metro Meta and
at One Marcus Flowers.
And we'd like to thank you for watching and listening to our content. We'd like to thank you even more if you, leave a like, a comment,
subscribe. Definitely subscribe. We need that. Subscribe, subscription.
And don't forget to share with all your friends and tell us how you feel.
And tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend that you got it from 26 and Glencoe Media Network.
Keep it real.